Because let us start today's discussion. Students, in the last lecture, we have been working with the transistor working. We have seen so far that the BJT is having three parts mainly. One is called emitter, the leftmost, rightmost is called as collector, and in the middle it is base. So we see here that in order to bias here we see two junctions to be formed as soon as we put these three regions together. The regions which we put together may be of this order P and P, or also this can be NPN. So either NPN or PNP we can have. Okay. So if we have say PNP, then we need to apply a forward biasing potential across emitter junction, and we need to apply a voltage such that this collector junction is reverse biased for the normal action of the transistor. Okay, so this is what we mean by normal operation here. So this potential which we apply across base emitter, sometimes this is called BB or BEB, and this is called as BCB. So these are the just nomenclatures here. In the last lecture also we tried to understand a little bit about what are the different actions which happens inside this particular uh, configuration. So if we look at the first junction here, emitter junction, then this is forward biased. Holes are actually pushed into the base, and electrons are pushed from base into the emitter like this. So this forms a diode current like characteristic here. The reference direction of the current is in the direction of the positive charge flow. Okay, so this is the diode like current here, ID, which is exponentially going to increase as we change this voltage across this junction. So separately, independently, if we look at this junction here, this is no different than the PN junction. Okay, normal simple PN junction. So it is the same thing, and its characteristic one can see to be something like this here. That is, after certain cut-in voltage, this will become forward bias, and the current will exponentially increase. This diode current will increase with this. Eventually, this diode current which we are showing here is flowing through the emitter. Okay, so this is flowing through the emitter here, and so this is also called emitter current IE. Okay, from here after we shall call the currents and these currents by their terminal names. Okay, already I think in the last lecture we tried to see this. The current flowing into the emitter, we call it as IE here. Similarly, current IC flows into the collector, and current IB flows into the base. So these are the different currents which we see to be flowing through the different. So the point was here that the current across or through this junction JE is similar to the diode current, and its value can be calculated in the same way. Uh, So this emitter current IE is nothing but the diode current ID. Okay, so this current is having two components as we can see here. One is due to the injection of the holes from emitter into the base, and another is the injection of the electrons from the base into the emitter. So different actually these carrier concentrations also we have seen. The base was lightly doped, so injected charge carriers is less here into the emitter, that is represented by NP here, whereas the emitter is heavily doped, so injected carriers, that is holes, into the base, that is of large quantity, and this diffuse, forming the diffusion current, and the sum of these two currents gives us the total current across this junction. So at, let us say that this is x is equal to 0. So at x is equal to 0, the current IE can be written as this. Suppose the whole current component is represented by PE, and that is of electron is represented by INE. Then these two current components added together at s equal to 0, we can represent the values of these to be at x equal to 0, okay, like this, and these together gives the current IE or ID. We also argued in the last lecture that part of the holes, okay, recombine into base, and a few are able to reach at this collector junction, okay, and those which reach at the collector junction, we have an electric field in the same direction, and being the positive charge the hole, it is swept across this junction as soon as they are in the influence of this internal electric field inside the collector junction, okay, and we say that the left out carriers are going to reach at collector, and we say that particular charges to be being collected at this rightmost terminal, okay, so that also justifies their names. Emitter is emitting the carriers and collector is collecting the carriers. In a very good transistor, what we expect at this point, that whatever the carriers are being injected from emitter, okay, they should be collected by collector. That is the ideal case. None of the carriers should be lost in the middle or in anyhow. Okay, so that is the best condition or the ideal condition which we can see here. So ideally, what can we expect, that all the carriers emitted from the emitter without recombination may be collected by the collector, okay, but in realistic cases we don't see this to be fulfilled. Some carriers are always going to be recombined in the base, and rest of the carriers are going to be collected by the collector, okay. So always collector current is going to be less than the emitter current. In there could be no case in which the collector current is going to exceed the emitter current, okay. So that is one point which must be noted here, that collector current is always less than emitter current IE, okay. So IE actually is going to mostly comprise to divide into two parts. One is a part is being collected by the collector, and a part is being recombined into the base. Okay, and this forms the base current. This forms the base current. Okay, so IE basically is going to divide into two parts, IC plus IB. We will see, okay, also in later classes. Is there any question? Okay. So excess holes diffuse across the base, and as soon as these carriers reach at the collector, they accelerate and fall into the collector, okay, and collected by collector. Okay, so what we see, because there is no accumulation of the carriers and at the collector junction, so this injected hole concentration becomes zero at collector junction. Okay, this PN becomes zero at collector junction because there is no carriers which can stay here. They quickly are swept across this region. One thing one can see also here that NP is also becoming zero at collector junction. Why it is so? Here we have just seen that the electric field is of this orientation. So NP is the electron concentration. Okay, so electron, as soon as they also come in the influence of this junction region, they are accelerated in the opposite direction of the electric field, being the negative charge. Okay, so these are the negative charges, so they are accelerated in this direction. So either the hole or the electron hole from the base of n type base, okay, and electron from the p type collector, both concentration at the junction becomes zero because of this region. Whereas far away from the junction, we have the thermal equilibrium concentrations of the electrons and holes. These are the minority charge carriers in the p-type emitter and collector. So let us look at the current components. In part of this already we try to discuss. The emitter doping is quite large as compared to the that of the base doping. Okay, so the current components of emitter, okay, the part of the emitter current arising due to the hole injection, and the part of the uh, current arising from the injection of the electrons from base into the emitter, that is I and E. They also depend on the level of doping. Okay, so because of this doping ratio, the current components, that is IPE, is greater, very large as compared to I and E. Okay, so this fact is shown over here. So because the injection of the electron from the base is very small, so it is sometimes neglected, and emitter current can be said to be solely due to the hole injection from emitter to the base. So that is approximation. Okay, this is just approximation. So what we see here, IE is equal to IB plus IC. Just a little while ago, we tried to see this part, that emitter current is further divided into a collector current and a base current. Base current is due to recombination inside the base. Okay. So if IB is large, then IC is going to be small. Okay, so ideally we want that the base current should be small. Okay, actually base current is not only due to recombination, but due to this the action which just be discussed here, that some carriers are being injected from the base into the emitter. Okay, so carriers are being injected from base into emitter. So some carriers are to be supplied from the base terminal. Okay, and some carriers which were injected from emitter into base, that recombine. Okay, so to again compensate for this recombinated carriers, one has to supply the carriers from this terminal here, which is the base terminal. Okay, so we see that there are two things which is happening due to this at the base emitter junction. Okay, at J junction, that is carriers are being injected from base into the emitter, and another is due to the carriers injected from emitter to the base, and there is a recombination happening, and because of this there is a supply of charge carriers from the base terminal. So these two components are there. Okay, so anyway this total IB which results due to this here at emitter junction, because of the emitter junction is forward bias, we have this current IB to result. Okay, so this has this due to recombination and due to this injection of charge from base into emitter. So ideally B should have IB to be 0. Okay, that means there will be less recombination, as well as there should be no injection or less injection from base into the emitter. Okay, so we can see that there are conflicting requirements here. Yeah, one can say that we may remove this base from the picture. In that case, what will happen? We will have only P regions. So that is not going to work like a transistor. Okay, so that will be just like a two single junction. In the worst case, I mean different doping constitutions, one can change the type of dopings from in the both regions, so that will just will be similar to the diode. Okay, so nothing is working here. Okay, so we have to have this base region, but base region can be lightly doped and can be made of very thin region, so that both the requirements are fulfilled to much extent. Okay, so that's what the idea is. So these are the requirements which are forcing the design of the transistor. Now here this uh, picture is showing now the different current components here which arise. Okay, as we discussed, so that those things are just highlighted over here. So IPE current, INE current components, these two together form the emitter current. So and emitter current, okay, the holes okay injected from emitter into the base, that forms the IPE current. A part from this IPE is being recombined here in the base, and rest is able to reach at the collector junction, which is being collected by the collector. So the part which is collected by the collector gives rise to a current called here IPC1, and the rest of the carriers which has recombined, that is being compensated from the base terminal, forming this IPE minus IPC1 current. And another is that electrons has been injected from base into the emitter, which is forming a current INE in this direction. Okay, see, whenever the electrons are say flowing say in this direction, then the current will be in the opposite direction. Okay, due to this. So current due to the negative charges are in the opposite direction to their flow. Okay, so that should also be noted here. So here the current directions are shown. It is not showing the direction of the charge carrier flow. The arrows here in this diagram show the current direction. Okay, so these different components are shown here. Some more two components one can see here, which is designated as ICU, is also written here. That we will see in a moment. So due to this forward bias emitter junction, these are the things which are happening here. So all currents are positive for PNP transistors. So some remarks are here written, just which was narrated. So now in this here, the same diagram again, but just little bigger diagram. Okay. Now let us see what we mean here by ICO. This is the current component which are left okay for discussion. So let us say that this is PNP. Okay. Emitter, base, and collector. So this emitter junction, emitter junction was forward bias. Now we are concentrating on the collector junction. So this is here the collector junction. The collector junction we are now reverse biasing here. Okay, so this is how we can reverse bias this collector junction by applying positive polarity of the voltage on the N side and negative polarity on the P side. So with this here, we will see a depletion region into this. Okay, so this is the depletion region. The depletion region, on the p side we have the acceptor ions, and on the n side we have donor ions. Okay, so the electric field already we have seen that this is going to be oriented from base to collector side like this. Okay, now this depletion region, because it is reverse biased. Okay, collector junction, so depletion region is significant here. So in the depletion regions, suppose there is, due to thermal agitation, some electron hole pairs generated. Okay, this was not the case in the forward bias junction. Okay, the emitter junction was forward bias, but there is no depletion region because of this forward biasing. Okay, so we don't see this phenomena to happen at the emitter junction, but this is possible at the collector junction, which is reverse biased. So emitter hole pairs may be generated. As soon as the electron and hole pairs are generated, what will happen to them? The electron and holes are generated here. So holes will move in the direction of the electric field, and electron will move in the opposite direction. So these will form a current here. These are going to form a current. Apart from this, the minority charge carriers which we have seen, okay, and that is in the p type we have the electrons, minority charge carriers, that was shown as np's 0, and in the n type base we have the holes minority charge carriers, that we have shown by p and 0. Okay, so these were also shown to become 0 at this junction. Why they become 0? Because they also are spread across the region. We have seen this. So the electron hole pair generation and these minority charge carriers, eventually if they come in the influence of this electric field present at the depletion in the depletion region of the collector, then they are swept across. The electron form this INCO current, and the holes they form this IPCO current. Okay, so C means collector, O means here the other junction, that is emitter junction, this is open. Okay, when the emitter junction, other junction is open, emitter junction is open. Okay, then what is the amount of the hole current and electron current flowing through the reverse bias junction? So together this IPCO and INCO, one can now relate here that this is nothing but equal to reverse saturation current. This is similar to the reverse saturation current across the diode. Okay, so I naught, okay, which we have seen is nothing but I same here as ICO. So due to the reverse biasing of the junction, we have a current component ICO, and due to the forward biasing of the emitter junction, we have a current called here IPC1, and these two current components together form the collector current IC. So these together they form the collector current. So collector current is little higher than IPC1 because of this ICO component, but this ICO is mostly very small as compared to that which is being contributed by this okay, injection of the charge carriers into the emitter from the base, and the current component which is resulting due to the recombination. Okay, so again the collector current is going to be smaller than the emitter current in any way. So I hope that this discussion is clear enough. This is very basis of the to understand the different current components inside the transistor here. So again we can summarize here that emitter current is forward biased, collector current is collector junction is reverse biased. Holes are injected from emitter into base, a part of this recombine resulting into this current component, and rest are collected by the collector resulting into IPC1. A part of current also result due to the injection of the charge carriers from base into emitter, that we call as INE. Apart from this, the collector junction is reverse biased, that is resulting into two current components, IPCO and INCO, and that gives us ICO, the total current. Okay, so this is this current is similar to the reverse saturation current of the diode. So total emitter current is equal to INE plus IPE here. From here you can see, whereas this collector current is equal to IPC1 plus ICO, and IB current is now having four current components, as we can see, that is having INE, that is having IPE minus IPC1, and then IPCO and INCO. So these are four current components. Together, these four current components forming the base current should be small, should be very small. So now we just try to understand what are the current components in a transistor. So INCO, IPCO we have already seen. So from the this diagram here, actually in this diagram, this ICO is shown to be in this direction, but in reality the current direction is in this direction. Okay, so that's why this INCO and IPCO plus is equal to minus of ICO. Only it is just directional convention. So minus sign chosen so that IC, the collector current IC, and ICO have the same sign. And when emitter junction is open circuit here, then emitter current is 0. So that's why O suffix is also written. So already we have just illustrated what is the IPCO origin, what is the INCO origin. All this we have already seen. So the current IC, okay, the difference direction of the current IC is written like this here, whereas the IPC1, this is set to flow in this direction, ICO is flowing in this direction. So the current of direction of IC and ICO match. Okay, that's why these are kept positive here. And the direction of the IPCO is just opposite here to the reference IC current direction. So a negative sign is put it here. Now from here, some different and representation is being adapted here, in the sense that a part of IE is being collected by the collector, that be called as IPC1. So IPC1 actually is going to be proportional to the IE, and say this sign of proportionality, if it is removed, then IPC1 is said to be equal to alpha times IE. So alpha is a factor which is now introduced here, showing that what is the fraction of the emitter current which is being collected by the emitter. Okay, so alpha factor is showing this thing. So I is positive and both IC and ICO are negative, which means the current in the collector lead is in the direction opposite to that of indicated by the arrow. So these are just references, referencing directions which we see. So IPC is equal to IPC1 plus IPCO. This is the whole current component. If we look at whole current component, at collector junction, then IPC1 is the whole current component, and a whole current component is due to this IPCO. These together form this. So we can see that there are three component of current crossing the collector junction. One is IPC1, another is IPCO, and another is INCO. So INCO represents electrons diffusing from a collector to the base, and holes crossing the junction. We have already argued that a part is arising from the carriers being ejected from emittent to the base, and another is due to the diffusion of this hole from uh, not really from base. Okay, from base it may be there, but mostly the thermally generated electron hole pairs. Okay, they are the cause of this IPCO and INCO, and mostly these are constant. That's why. We define another quantity here. Sorry, not this another quantity, but alpha. So for alpha, already we have written from this. Okay, this equation IC is equal to ICO minus alpha IE. Okay, so IC is equal to ICO minus alpha IE. Okay, so from this equation we can readily write here this equation here. Okay, we will of course not have this 0. So from here alpha can be written as IC ICO minus IC upon IE, and this is written as minus of IC minus ICO divided by IE minus 0. Okay, let us look at the significance of this rewriting of this equation. IC is the current through collector, and that is resulting from the emitter current here when it is forward biased, whereas ICO is the part of the collector current when we made the emitter junction, okay, emitter junction open, that is emitter current was 0. So at that condition the current ICO is going to flow across the collector junction. So this is the significance of this equation, rewriting of this equation. So it actually shows here that when emitter is open, that is current is 0, then there is ICO current, and when we have some emitter current applied, okay, collector emitter junction is forward bias, we have emitter current, and from that a part of IC is being collected. Here the fact is that one is neglecting this ICO in the meantime, okay. So ICO is being neglected in this analysis here. So we can see here that the change in the collector current to change in the emitter current. So actually this alpha factor can be seen as to be the ratio of a change in the collector current to the change in the emitter current from off to on position. So when there is a large biasing change, and because of that there is a large change in the current, so we call this as a large signal. And okay, and this looks like a kind of gain here, okay. The ratio of current actually in the transistor, because we are forcing the current from the emitter end and we are taking the current from the collector end. So emitter end seems to be as input and collector end seems to be output. So also this is giving a kind of ratio of the current at output to the current at input. So that's why this factor, alpha factor, has been also called as gain. Okay. So these are the significance of rewriting and understanding this particular term here. Okay. So alpha is also called large signal current gain. Initially, while discussing, we tried to define this alpha as the factor of the fraction, okay, fraction of the emitter current being collected by the collector. But this can also be defined as large signal current gain, alpha factor, and its value ranges from 0.9 to 0.998. These are typical values, okay. It doesn't mean any transistor cannot have lower than this 0.9, or any transistor cannot have more than 0.998, okay. It is not like that, but one must see that the alpha has to be always lower than 1. Alpha cannot be equal to 1 or greater than 1. Alpha has is going to be alpha is going to be always less than 1. So we can rewrite these equations in a different form, just relating that the forward bias emitter junction can be represented to give a current similar to the diode current, and I naught is similar to the ICO here. Then the current IC can be written as minus alpha IE plus ICO, this one. So ICO actually is a current which is dependent to the reverse biasing voltage also. So the reverse biasing voltage across the collector junction, if it is VC, we can exploit this and write this. BC is negative here. See, BC is negative here. So as BC increases, this term reduces, okay, and this becomes ICO. So this is where we stop here today. We can represent this collector current also in this form. Okay, we will continue from here in the coming lectures, and we will see some more discussions about the transistors and its working. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, so if there are no questions, thank you all. We will meet in the next.
Thank you, sir.